Horror games have never really been my thing growing up. Sure, I may have dabbled in Eternal Darkness on the Nintendo GameCube and have played the occasional Resident Evil games from time to time, the most recent being on the Nintendo 3DS, and have even dived into the world of Five Nights at Freddy's at times, though that one was thanks to a friend putting the game on my school laptop in 8th grade. The last horror game I can recall ever playing that actually made me nearly piss myself was an online flash webtoon titled Bong Chong Dawn Ghost, a webcomic about a schoolgirl who comes face to face with a bloody South Korean ghost. I nearly smashed my school laptop playing this game because it scared me that much. You think you're reading a nice little comic about a schoolgirl walking home and then BAM! Jump scares. Since I never really dabbled in the horror game library such as Outlast and many horror fan games on the internet, that of course meant I hadn't gotten into the Luigi's Mansion series, not because I was scared, far from it. In fact, I love the Mario series, and these ghosts are nowhere near scary. The main reason why I never gotten into the Luigi's Mansion series up until the last installment was because I never had the money, and Luigi's Mansion never really caught my interest growing up until Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon on the Nintendo 3DS. It was just something about seeing my favorite Mario character walking around sucking up ghosts in a vacuum-like machine in a haunted mansion that made me think, this isn't Luigi, where's my Italian plumber running around doing super high jumps and racing in go-karts? I didn't ask for this. It just felt so different seeing all of that dark, gloomy atmosphere surrounding my all-time favorite Mario character compared to all the colorful, light-hearted vibes I've been getting from the Green Plumber in video games prior. Nevertheless, I was excited about a Luigi's Mansion coming to the Nintendo Switch. It finally gave me an excuse to play the games, and that's what I did. Sure, I could have played the recent Luigi's Mansion games on the 3DS, but I just decided to wait for the most recent installment, that way I can experience the series for myself in glorious HD. And I must say, the wait for any information on this game was horrendous. There was no gameplay footage, no screenshots, nothing to go for in terms of expectations, and Nintendo was dead silent about this game for months, just like with Animal Crossing New Horizons, which I do plan on covering once it releases. This led fans to speculate and theorize on what the game was going to offer until the Nintendo E3 2019 Direct, where they finally shown gameplay footage as well as give us a release date, which actually wasn't that bad of a wait. I mean, a few months after the initial Direct, that's pretty solid. Luigi's Mansion 3 released on October 31st of this year, and haha, laugh it up, the game came out on Halloween, I know, but this is actually a pretty logical business opportunity. Nintendo releasing this game on Halloween with all of the spooky festivities going around like trick-or-treating and Halloween parties make this game the perfect gift for someone like me not really interested in the holiday and prefer to just kick back and play some video games at home. Right off the bat, you're introduced to the title screen, which shows off how the hotel will look at the beginning of the game with the bright and sunny environment and the logo looking nice and fancy with the color combination of metallic gold and silver. Spoiler alert, the title screen changes 15 minutes after you start the game. This is a title screen I can get behind. It feels just right with the more spooky aesthetic and the logo resembling the logo on the game case, adding in the color combination of green and a darkish yellow close to orange. Moving on to the story. Luigi's Mansion 3 kicks off with Luigi, Mario, Princess Peach, and a few Toads going on vacation to a fancy hotel that Luigi and company were invited to. And right off the bat, is that Toad driving a fucking bus? He can't even see the road because he's so small. How is his foot touching the gas pedal? I have questions, Nintendo, but for now, let's continue on. Once they arrive at the fancy hotel titled The Last Resort, Luigi gets everyone checked in and we're greeted to the hotel owner Helen Gravely, who greets everyone and proceeds to show Luigi and company to their rooms. Soon after, Luigi takes a nap, then is awakened later on when he hears Princess Peach scream, and this is where the spooky hotel changes become more noticeable. Who woke me up from my dream about Katy Perry? After trying to investigate, we then learn that Helen Gravely is in fact a ghost, and is a huge fan of King Boo who has returned after the events of the previous Luigi's Mansion games. Does King Boo make YouTube videos too? King Boo reveals his plans of having Luigi and all of his friends captured in picture frames as a form of vengeance and proceeds to try and capture him. After a significant chase sequence, which I failed twice, Luigi escapes King Boo by throwing himself into the laundry chute, where he notices a very old-fashioned looking vehicle being Professor Egad's, the man responsible for creating the Flood, magic paintbrush, and other gadgets seen throughout the Mario and Luigi's Mansion series. Inside the vehicle is his trusty Poltergust G00, which ironically made his first appearance in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. After a brief tutorial on how to use the Poltergust, Luigi sets off to stop Helen Gravely and King Boo in order to rescue his friends in the haunted hotel. Along the way, you find that Professor Egad has been captured as well, and with the help of the Poltergust and the new Dark Cloud ability, you're able to set him free and have him help you with your objective to free your friends and stop Helen and King Boo once and for all. Now, I can't compare this game's story to titles prior because I haven't played a Luigi's Mansion game before this one. So my overall thoughts on the story and presentation are going to be pretty straightforward, and I think the story is really good. I mean, I pretty much knew from the start who the main antagonist was going to be. Like, come on, would you trust anyone named Helen Gravely who owns a hotel called The Last Resort? I sure wouldn't, and I hope nobody else does either. Putting all that aside, Luigi's Mansion 3 looks amazing. The cutscenes look like they were pulled straight out of a Disney Pixar movie with a huge attention to detail. I love that you can see all of these characters act and feel with real human emotion. You can see the fright and terror in Luigi's face as you watch the cutscenes and play through the game, the worry in Professor Egad's voice, the sheer excitement that Helen Gravely and King Boo have as they both plan to get their revenge on Luigi. This game delivers the same amount of detail and personality that games like Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild have, maybe even having more itself. I love that this game is so detailed, maybe a little too detailed at times, like Polterpup for example. He's so adorable and feels like an actual puppy. The environment around you is very interactive with your surroundings, being able to run into almost anything that can be ran into and it will have an effect. I ran all over the hotel lobby at the beginning of the game, just to see what I could do and interact with, and in this game, it's a lot, especially after you obtain the Poltergust. It's really something about how interactive Luigi is with his environment. Nothing really feels restricted in this game. Even at the beginning, I found myself running into things and just watching the outcome of what to expect whenever I knock something over. Or maybe it's just me being clumsy, because I am a huge klutz when I see things stacked in front of me. I knocked over my collection of 3DS games stacked on top of my drawer one time. Now as for the hotel setting itself, I think it's pretty cool regardless if it's contradictory to the game's title. Luigi's Mansion, more like Luigi's Haunted Hotel. The hotel is divided by floor which you travel to via elevator, but all of these floors aren't available from the start as you have to obtain each floor's buttons by taking down bosses, courtesy of the Poltergust G00, the most revolutionary way of sucking up all your ghostly needs. Order yours today at www.kingboozaddict.com/gravely for 15% off on your next purchase. Free shipping available. Each floor has its own unique floor plan and setting, and with these different settings come more unique challenges and boss fights varying from the floor you're on. My personal favorite is the third floor, which gives off a sort of shopping mall vibe, with escalators, a hair salon, food court, clothing stores, and did I mention the boss on that floor is supposed to be a security guard who uses a water gun as a weapon? That's brilliant. There are about 17 floors total, which means you'll have to grind your way to the top, which can be pretty tough if you don't know what you're doing, and considering I've never played a Luigi's Mansion game up to this point, I usually found myself getting stuck on a lot of floors, and with this game being very brief on what it is you're supposed to be doing, that makes things kinda hard to say the least. Why do I have a giant vacuum on my back? Where am I? I got the hang of it after playing for a while with knowing how everything generally works, but this game doesn't really do much with telling you exactly what to do and how to advance, especially if you've never played the Luigi's Mansion games like myself. But that's really my only problem with the game. The rest of this review is probably going to be me just praising the game from here on out. Luigi's Mansion 3 has simple yet very enjoyable gameplay. I find myself drawn to games like this with a sort of semi-open world style of gameplay where you can explore to a certain extent, without the game having a set path for you to follow in order to progress. It's one of the reasons why I'm so easygoing on the Super Mario 3D titles and why I'm not that big of a fan of auto-scroll levels in games. At the beginning of the game you just play as Luigi with no abilities or nothing, only being able to walk and knock stuff over. Pretty simple, but once you obtain the Poltergust, that's when the gameplay truly shines, and I have some good stuff to say about this. The Poltergust is Luigi's trusty weapon he needs in order to fend off the ghosts spread throughout the hotel. Like in previous Luigi's Mansion games, it does the same thing it's always done, which is sucking up ghosts and blowing them away. A jump mechanic used in order to get into tight areas not normally accessed by just walking. He can use his flashlight at full power to send off a charged light flash to stun ghosts and find secrets. Shoot a toilet plunger to grab and pull open chests, doors, and certain ghosts to inflict damage, and use the dark light to find secret goodies and free his friends from their captivity that are picture frames. He can also suck up animals for like money and stuff. Upon doing a bit more research on the previous games, I noticed the combat is a bit different in this game. See, the way you take out your enemies in this game is you have to charge your flashlight up to stun them. Then you suck the ghosts up from the rear, pause, then slam them on the ground multiple times to inflict damage upon them and increase their health, thus making it easier for you to catch them. This gameplay style is pretty addicting considering you're going to be using the Poltergust 99% of the time. I found myself just taking in everything I could really suck in or blow away, as there are a lot of things you can suck up or blow away, like rats, trash, and money. Rats, trash, money. Rats, trash, money. Grab the Poltergust, I suck up rats, trash, money. Rats, trash, money. Rats, trash, money. Grab the Poltergust. Princess Peach is a bunny? There is a lot of money in this game and a lot to be earned. You earn money by just overall playing the game. That can mean finding and opening chests, discovering secrets, taking down enemies, and using all of the tools you're given at your disposal. Of course, that's not all you can do in the game, as there is plenty more to do and experience, like Luigi making his second debut in the series after his first major appearance in the infamous Luigi's Mansion remake on the Nintendo 3DS. And now, time for Stupid Facts with Skyward Niko. Luigi is green. This concludes Stupid Facts with Skyward Niko, Episode 1. Luigi has a few distinctive abilities of his own. Obviously he controls completely identical to Luigi in terms of combat abilities with the Poltergust, but he can also squeeze himself into tight areas not accessible by Luigi, like cages and vent openings. Luigi is also weak against water, and I don't mean that as in it drops your health by a little bit every time he touches it. I mean he is vulnerable against the liquid, meaning if even a tiny drop of water touches him, he is completely dead and will return back to Luigi's Poltergust. Luigi's involvement in this game feels like it's needed in order to progress, instead of it feeling like a gimmick to promote multiplayer or any unnecessary new addition that have nothing to do with the main plot of the overall game. Getting into the music, it fits the overall aesthetic of the environment with a spooky cartoonish vibe. A haunted hotel swarming with ghosts and other scary trinkets. With each floor of the hotel having its own theme, it's only natural that they would have their own musical tune as well to fit the aesthetic of the environment you'll be exploring. For example, floor 2 has a French restaurant theme, and floor 3 has an undercover cop feel to it, which is again my favorite one out of the 17 different floors. I like that Nintendo went the extra mile and decided to make the music as fitting and diverse to the overall game as much as they did. Nothing feels out of place here, and it's this sheer amount of detail and passion put into this game that I can say I ultimately really appreciate. The soundtrack doesn't need to be 100% spook and frights, horrors and terrors to give off a spooky setting, and Nintendo knows this, hence why they made every track in the game fitting to the overall environment. Like, come on, floor 3, really? A pseudo undercover cop theme mixed in with the cartoonish creepy vibe of Luigi's Mansion music? That's too good, even for Nintendo. Going to the collectibles of the game, there are a few but not too many sadly. You have money being the main collectible of the game, which you can use in the in-game shop, but the items aren't going to be too worth the purchase as the items being sold aren't too great, just stuff to help if you're in serious need or are looking to collect all of the gems and booze. Speaking of which, there are about 6 gems on each floor which require puzzle solving to obtain them all. The gems have their own distinctive style and color depending on the floor, which is an easy way to separate the gems you've collected, thus making the puzzle solving more enjoyable. And I like that Nintendo did this as well. It's the little things in the game that count, and this is definitely a nice attention to detail. Wish another game series took their advice. The boos are captured pretty much the same way enemies are captured, by approaching them in combat, though the boos feel more like mini boss fights rather than regular enemies, maybe because they're more rare than regular enemies. The collectibles in this game don't really have a purpose other than just being collected, and I'm no completionist, so I'm not going to even attempt to 100% this game, as I know it's not going to really mean anything at the end of the day. You're not really being rewarded for searching the hotel up and down for these different collectibles, so why bother trying to collect all of them if there's no special reward at the end? So I guess you could say that's my second gripe with the game, which is kinda contradicting my first statement of me having only one gripe with the game, but nevertheless, Luigi's Mansion 3 is a really great title that I'm honestly sad I never got to experience up to this point. The Pixar quality visuals. I would totally support Nintendo making a fully CGI animated Luigi's Mansion movie, by the way. The smooth animations and fluent gameplay. The music. Oh my god, the music. This game delivers a lot to newcomers and longtime Luigi's Mansion fans alike. Sure, I have like 2 gripes with the game, but there's still a decent amount of stuff for you to do outside of the main single player story, which adds to its replayability. Wanna be like Gerard the Completionist? Collect every single gem and boo in the game, as well as fill your pockets up with that sweet, sweet cash. Hashtag paper stacking. Wanna play with other people? Then dirty your hands with the local or online co-op and multiplayer. Still not sold on Luigi's Mansion 3? Maybe you'll be after this. This is great. Hey everyone, Skyward needs to fix his upload schedule here. What did you think of my rap skills? Did you think I was good or think I was bad? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below. It really helps the channel out and helps me out a ton. And share the video out with a friend or two, or your mom, or your dad, or your cat, mouse, dog, rat, whatever. Just know it really helps me out a ton and I really appreciate it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm gonna have another video up pretty soon, not as long as this one took to make, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 2, who knows, but just know it will be less time than this one took to make, and I'm looking forward to this one as well. So be on the lookout for that one, and that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching. I will see you all next time. Bye.